What's up, everyone? We're live.
Happy 4th of July, everyone. Yay. Hope you're all having a nice day with your families, a nice day off. And Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm having a nice chill day today. I actually got my all my workouts in this morning, so after this, I don't have to worry much. Except Jacob and I are going to be recording our podcast episode for this week, and my dad and I's annual rewatch of 1776, which we never
Nice.
miss, and it's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, it's a really fun one. I really enjoy it. I think a lot of people that got on the Hamilton train will actually also enjoy 1776. So if you like Hamilton, I think or Broadway musicals, then I think people should give it a shot. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and for all you Boy Meets World fans out there, John Adams is Mr. Feeney. Good old William Daniels.
Yeah. Well, I like you. I'm using today to get a lot of podcasts in, and we recorded a Heartland episode, which I'll be sending over to you soon to edit. And then also recorded our Sex and the City recap with my friend Jax, and that was actually a big challenge because it was a pretty controversial episode. But I'm really proud of what we did, what we recorded. So that's always it's nice to not just be stagnant in this world of sort of YouTube and podcasts, to be challenging myself and growing and learning. So it was fun.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I Later on this week, I'm going to be uh, recording a podcast. I'm going to be a guest on the Fifth Dimension. We're going to be talking about the Twilight Zone episode, The Howling Man. I'm going to be over on Movie Emporium's channel talking with him, Trivial Theater, and Jacob Anders reviews. And so I'm looking forward to that.
Mm, cool. Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah,
Um,
that episode should be out, I believe, next week, because this coming week they're talking about the one before that, which I can't remember now, but it's with Ashley from Movie Oracle.
mm. We also have our chat room open with the super chat. If anyone feels so inclined, or if you have a question that you'd like us to answer, we would love to do it. So check out the chat. And yeah, it's fun. I mean, I think those kind of live streams or those kinds of podcasts are just such a great way to meet new people and just have fun. I
Yeah,
always
I
really enjoyed those.
yeah, I agree with you there, and it's especially special for me because when I started covering Twilight Zone when I was like just starting my channel, I had no idea people would be like, "Hey, we have a Twilight Zone show. Would you like to talk about it?" And I'm like,
Hmm.
"Sure." I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think a little bit that way sometimes with the Hallmark movies, that people I meet, I'm like, "You're a Hallmark fan?" Oh.
I mean, still with a channel with like 4,000 subscribers, I can imagine it'd be like, Hallmark fan, come to me. Let's be
Yeah.
friends.
But, yeah, so today we are previewing the movies coming to streaming in, July and August, and, it's gonna be pretty fun, pretty eclectic group. We're gonna talk about, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, Apple, HBO Max, everybody.
Disney.
So, um, all right, let's dive in. Well, the first one is The Bad Guys, and this is coming to Peacock on July 1st. Did you have a chance to see this in the theater?
I did, and I keep meaning to do a review of it, but just other things come up, YouTuber
Yeah.
struggles. I'm sure you know what I mean there. But I greatly enjoyed this one. DreamWorks has been going through that whole boss baby phase, and I hope that it's out of their system now. Is there a third one? I think you might have mentioned that. I don't know if there's a third one. I
Third
hope
Boss
not.
Baby?
Yeah,
Oh, I hope not. There
I
is
sincerely hope not.
a television. I mean, there's like a series on Netflix. I don't think they announced a third one. Oh my gosh, please no.
Well, hopefully it is out of their system because The Bad Guys was a very nice return to form.
Yeah. There's a third Trolls movie coming.
All right, well, that's not the worst. I don't think that's like the worst thing out there. But
It's not as bad as Boss Baby.
I remember in like March of 2020 when Trolls World Tour was like going straight to streaming and everyone was like, "This is it. This is going to be the death of theaters." And I think there are like 3 or 4 movies this year that made $1 billion just off of theater runs, if memory serves. So
Mhm.
wasn't exactly the silver bullet that people were predicting it to be, which is weird time. Weird
Yeah,
time.
it really was. We have some people in the chat room, so welcome. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, I loved the Bad Guys. I thought it was really like funny, and the animation blew me away. And I really liked the message of friendship. Was really good, and it was just I thought a really engaging heist movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really was, and I love me a good heist movie, and I
yeah,
love me a good animated movie, so it's like 2 things that I love amongst the many
yeah.
things that I love.
And I liked the most recent Minions movie way more than I expected to.
Oh, yeah.
But the it had some genuinely funny sequences, like when they're flying the plane. That was ridiculous and funny. But it did it did get downgraded just a little bit by the fact that they still annoy me sometimes, but also the fact that the Bad Guys is very similar
Yeah.
story and way
Mhm.
better in every
Yeah,
way.
I completely agree, and while I like the animation in both, I surprisingly liked Minions: The Rise of Gru.
It
I
was
was not
way
calling
better than I expected.
I was not calling it, but it was way better than it had any right to be.
Yeah,
I like
agree.
both, but I do prefer the Bad Guys just a bit. Not by much, but enough to notice.
Yeah. So Bingram asks, yes, no more Boss Baby. Want to see the Bad Guys? Is it theater worthy? I think so. Just
Mhm.
for the animation alone, it's so beautiful, especially the chase sequences. I think are some of the best racing scenes I've ever seen in animation. They were really impressive.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I was in a theater with a lot of families, or not a lot, but like more than a few families with like really little kids, and they were actually into it, which
Hmm.
is, I suppose, the point of movies like The Bad Guys, to get kids and families in general into it. But just from the litmus test of looking to my left and looking to my right of me, the families that I did see, they were definitely into it.
Yeah. I do have to say the screening, it was a public screening for Minions too, and it was extremely frustrating. The kids were that were in the audience, maybe they just weren't that engaged, I don't know, but they were walking around talking so much. They and then the parents were as well, and it was just like a free for all. I I don't know. I mean, I just that's where I tweeted out when I tweeted out like I don't mean to be rude, but could we teach our children a little bit better about theater etiquette? Like if they have to go to the bathroom, then just they can quietly ask to go. They shouldn't be, like throwing popcorn. They should
Mm.
just be able to sit and watch the movie. And I don't know. I understand when you're talking like toddlers because you can't really like train a tiny little kid, but when you're talking like kindergarten and up, they have to sit in school so they know what is expected in certain environments. They're old enough to be trained of kind of when we need to be quiet, when we can be loud, when we what is expected of them. And that doesn't mean they're always going to behave, but sometimes I feel like I don't know, I'm just like sometimes I feel like the parents are practically as bad as the kids, walking around, talking, uh eating loudly. I mean, just stuff like that. there was a lady next to me that had Chinese food, which wasn't even, it's not served at the theater. So she thought like smuggled that in. And if you're going to smuggle in food, don't smuggle in something that's, like really smelly like that. That's just
Yeah.
rude. I don't know. It was just a mess. It was a bad
Like,
screening. It's
just,
amazing. I still enjoyed the movie because I was just like, these
like,
people.
just for context's sake, every weekend I ride my bike just for cardio purposes. And
Mm-hmm.
along my route, there is kind of an outdoor mall. It's called the Pavilion. And in the Pavilion, there is a Panda Express.
Right.
I can legit smell the orange chicken from like the stoplight. And it's not like right next
Yeah.
to the stoplight, it's a couple of rows over, and I can still smell it. So consider you're in a dark room with seats that are very close to one another. You don't think that that stuff is just going to like reek of like the Beijing beef that you smuggled in,
Yeah.
and it's like
Exactly.
what, what
And
was
she was right next to me, and it smelled strong.
what was the thought process? And especially if you like get in like those like little boxes, like the Folo boxes, is like those are so cumbersome. Like how big of a purse do you need, or like a bag do you
Yeah.
need? Like it makes no sense.
It's just not very thoughtful. And Benny says, same thing happened to me at Dominion, parents talking as much as the kids.
Oh yeah.
And again, I understand that's where etiquette comes into. Sometimes you need to whisper. Sometimes, you have a little thing you want to say, like, oh, can you believe they did that or whatever? And you can whisper it, and that's fine. But when you're talking loudly, it's just rude.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely. Yeah.
rude.
Sometimes I'll have to like go to the bathroom when like when I take my dad to see something. Like if I've seen something already and I
Mm-hmm.
take a moment and I have to use the bathroom, I'll use that moment to go. But I like turn to him, I like I touch his arm and I'm like, I'll be right back. And he nods and like he knows where I'm going. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Do we want to give like a rating? I mean, this one isn't really a preview because we've both seen it, but do you remember or you haven't done your review. So what do you think you'd give like 1 to 5? What would you give the bad guys?
I think I give it a 4. I The
Yeah.
story is definitely stuff you've seen
Yeah.
before. It's like the typically evil people seeing the light and slowly walking towards the light side of the force.
Mhm.
Definitely happened before. The animation is really solid. The action is a lot of fun. The voice
Yeah.
cast is surprisingly good
Yeah.
too. And I kind of sort of called who the villain was going to be, but even still, I thought it was very well done what they
Mhm.
did with that villain.
I agree. I would also give it a 4. I think that's right. It was really solid. Still one of the best animated films of the year, in my
Hmm.
opinion. All right. So then on Hulu, we have The Princess that's already come out. I haven't had a chance to see it. Did you get a chance to watch the trailer? What'd you think?
I did, and considering the fact that this is about a princess locked in a tower, and the fact that Bad Reputation by Joan Jett plays, I was sitting there thinking to myself, geez, this is not the Shrek reboot I was expecting. Like,
Right.
I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the only one who made that connection, or if I'm the only one, then so be it. But I mean, it looked fine enough. But I was just sitting there. I was thinking to myself, all this needs is some dude in like some fat dude with green face paint, and I'm like, there you got your Shrek live action right there.
It didn't look as funny as Shrek,
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
but it's definitely trying to go for that like kick butt kind of a thing. Like I can see what you're saying with Fiona. Um, yeah, I think this looks entertaining enough. I have heard from some friends that they actually enjoyed it. So I'm not like the biggest Joey King fan, although I liked her on when she was in what was it called? She was
Is
in
that
the
one movie about the little girl who was convinced by her mom that she was
yes,
diseased even though she really wasn't?
The Act is called.
That's the one, yeah. I remember
But
you recommending that a long time
yeah,
ago.
that was good. Very, very, very good. But and She was Gypsy Rose Blanchard in the act, and that was very good. But I hate the kissing booth so much. I
Mm.
never saw second and third. I just couldn't do it. The first one was so bad.
It's like the Kissing Booth movies in 365 days. They have
Yeah.
reputations, and there's a part of me that wants to give them a chance, but seeing what they're actually about, I just think to myself, I think I'm gonna take their word for it.
Yeah. So, what would you give this one as a preview of your excitement level, 1 to 5?
I think I'll give it a 3. I think it looks fun enough.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So then we have Asking for It. And this is, like I said, also on Hulu. And this is got Vanessa Hudgens, and it's after a small town waitress is sexually assaulted after a date with her old friend. She befriends a mysterious stranger who introduces her to an all female gang. So, yeah, this is another trying to be all kick butt and everything, but it does have a really good cast. Kiersey Clemens, Alexander Shipp, Gabri Sibiday. I In the past life, I might have been excited about Ezra Miller. It's a little hard right now. I do think he's talented when he wants to
And the
be.
award for worst timing goes
Yeah.
to I
I don't know. What do you think of this?
I have no patience for Ezra Miller anymore. The stories about whoever he identifies as nowadays, or whoever, like, whatever his
Yeah.
deal is, I have no patience for him now. I almost want the Flash movie to be taken completely off the docket. I know that's probably not going to happen because a lot of money has been put into it and it's not something that they can take off easily. But I don't know. I don't have time for that person anymore. And at the risk of sounding harsh, I mean, I can't. I
Yeah.
just really can't. It's like that, and it's like that Kevin Spacey and like maybe a couple of others.
It's
Maybe
getting
some.
harder and harder and harder uh, to I mean, just it keeps piling on more and more and more stuff, and it's all seems to be everyone is worse than the rest. And I know it's not fair because tons of people worked on this movie, and there's got all these other talented people. It's tough though when it's just so much, and it also feels like his character is kind of creepy in the if he if like I know there's some things about, is he like trying to start a cult or what's going on, and it feels a little cultish, his character in this movie, like leading this gang and of these things. I don't know. So I don't think I'll be watching it, but I'm bummed because I absolutely loved Ezra Miller and Perks of Being a Wallflower. That performance was transcendent to me. I thought that they did just such a great job, and I just love that movie so much. So it bums me out that they have proven to not be a particularly good person, it seems like.
Yeah, and it sucks even more considering that Ezra Miller is responsible, or in the scene, one of the most talked about scenes in Zack Snyder's Justice League when he goes all Speed Force on everything.
Yeah.
That's like the one scene that I see referenced more about that movie than anything else. So it really is a tragedy. It is.
Yeah, so I mean, and I wouldn't be that interested in this anyway. Um, but it might have piqued my interest because of the cast. I really do like Alexander Shipp. She was in Tick Tick Boom, which of course I love so much. I'll give it a 1.
I'm
I'm not, yeah,
struggling
unfortunately.
to struggling to not give this a 0, but for the sake
Yeah,
of the rules, I will go 1.
darn. All right. So then on Netflix we have a documentary called Girl in the Picture. What do you think of this?
This looked incredibly compelling. I like to listen to a lot of like true crime stuff, especially stuff. I didn't get around to seeing the Netflix one about the people and the father and not the father, but the dude.
Yeah, oh yeah. Our
That one.
Father. I
I
didn't see
haven't
it
seen
either.
that. I haven't seen that yet, but I want to. But it feels like Netflix is going down this weird route of promoting these weird true crime type of stuff, and honestly, I'm here for it. I don't know if you ever saw I can't remember this one, but it was about this bank robbery that got botched really bad. I believe
Mhm.
it was produced by the same people as Making a Murderer. I'll look up the
I
title
think I
later.
did see that, and also they did one on, Mark Hoffman, who was a scam artist, a forger, that, ended up becoming a, terrorist, basically bombing people. They did one on him, which was actually, really well done, and of course was a big case here in Utah, in the 80s. So that was really interesting. But yeah, these true crime documentaries can be very interesting. And this one, so a young mother's mysterious death and her son's subsequent kidnapping blow open a decades-long mystery about the woman's true identity and the murderous federal fugitive at the center of it all. So yeah, it sounds very interesting. What would you give this one then?
I think I'll give this one a 4, just
Yeah,
based on my love for this kind of stuff.
agreed. All right. So then we have the Sea Beast. This is on the 8th. It's an animated film coming to Netflix. And this is when a young girl stows away on the ship of a legendary sea monster hunter. They launch an epic journey into uncharted waters and make history to boot. So, what did you think about this trailer?
I can't give this more of a 5 if I wanted to. I love this trailer. I've seen it a couple times now because on my podcast, Jacob and I did preview this, and we both loved it. Um, I love this cast. I love the designs. I mean, some time ago I recommended Sinbad and the Legend of the Seven Seas, that DreamWorks movie that no one remembers.
Hmm.
So it's giving me those kind of vibes, and so I'm definitely down with this.
What it's exciting to see is directed by Chris Williams, who was a co-director on Moana. He also was a writer, a storyboard for Moana. He worked on and also Big Hero 6. He co-directed on that.
No wonder
And
why I like this trailer so much.
yeah, I mean, the animation looked a little cheap to me, but in moments at least. I mean, it's certainly not on Moana's level. They don't have the budget for that, but I thought the story looked sweet. I thought the little girl looked really cute. And I mean, they do have a great voice cast: Carl Urban, Dan Stevens, Jared Harris. A lot of really fun actors. So I'm always going to be excited for an animated film, and this got a great response out of Annecy. They screened it at the Annecy Film Festival in France. So of course, that makes me excited to see it. So yeah, definitely. Uh, a I guess I'll give it a 4.5, but I'm pretty pumped. All right. So then we have on Disney Plus, and there wasn't much coming to Disney Plus in these next 2 months. It's pretty, as far as new programming, there wasn't a whole lot, but we have The Wonderful Summer of Mickey Mouse. And this is in this kind of new um, style of Mickey Mouse that they have done for the last couple of years. Um, but I don't know. I like kind of the manic energy of this new style of Mickey Mouse shorts that they've been doing, and this one, it's um, Mickey Mouse and his friends each recall the wild events leading up to the annual summer fireworks spectacular from their point of views. So, what did you think about this?
I did not think I was going to like it as much as I did, but I really liked this one. I
Hmm.
I like the frenetic energy of this
Yeah,
animation.
it's
That
a good
that really
word.
stood out to me.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good word to describe it. Very frenetic, very kind of spastic. And I see why some people don't like it, because they do look kind of, they're not like the typical, especially Goofy. I think it is sort of jarring to get used to this new kind of version of Goofy, but I think it looks fun, and I've enjoyed the series so far. We got a comment from Jeremiah Bach. He says, seeing Moana in theaters was one of my favorite theatrical experiences. Also, hi, guys.
Hello.
So, hi.
Hello, Jeremiah.
Yeah, Moana was incredible to see in theaters. That was a great experience. So, what
Yeah,
would you give this? Oh,
I
sorry, go
remember
ahead.
going to see Moana at the first showing Thursday night. That was when I had started working at my local theater summer of 16. It was Suicide Squad weekend. And and what we would sometimes do as employees is if we were working Thursday afternoon or Thursday night, we would close and then get or get all the closing stuff done, and then we would all watch Moana if we were all up for it, and a lot of times we
Oh,
were. And so it was essentially myself and my theater friends, and we were all got like a private screening with the managers and the whole nine. It was a lot of fun.
that's
And the
cool.
movie's really good too, so
Yeah.
added bonus.
It's really good. It kind of makes me feel like it's like an animated version of the Odyssey, in the sense
Mm.
of that she kind of has all these little stops along the way to the final ending, which I love. The ending is so moving.
Not to
Uh,
mention hearing The Rock sing, which is never
mhm.
a bad thing.
What can I say except you're
You're
welcome?
welcome.
So, what would you give The Wonderful Summer of Mickey Mouse?
I'll give this one a 4.
Yeah, I think that's good. All right. So then we have on Netflix Hello, Goodbye, and Everything in Between. This is a rom-com, I guess you might say, of the let me find the IMDb, but this stars Jordan Fisher, and it's after making a pact to break up before college, Claire and Aiden retrace the steps of their relationship on one last date, revisiting familiar and unexpected places as they question stay together or goodbye forever. What do you think?
Um, this is a bit weird because I was watching this and I was thinking to myself, you idiots thought you would actually break up before college. You're like, what do you think world do you think this is?
Yeah.
I just I don't know. This one was just weird to me. It looks interesting, but at the same time, like I said, I was just sitting there like, uh, yeah, this plan definitely like it's not gonna work. Like
Yeah,
like
I know that I've heard of some people that do that, that they break up before, going to college. I've also heard of the whole idea of like the turkey drop where you get dumped at Thanksgiving.
that's
But
that's just kind of cruel.
yeah.
Hey,
But
can you pass the stuffing? Oh, by the way, we're breaking up.
yeah,
The what?
because they go away to college and they meet somebody and the whole thing, and then they come back for Thanksgiving. And I do like Jordan Fisher. I think he's very charming. So that is probably the biggest appeal. But this whole sort of, I don't know, like going back to the all the memories of. I mean, they're how old are they? How many memories can they have?
If they're leaving high school, then they have to be either 17 or 18.
I mean, don't most people when they're in high school and they're dating just like sit next to each other at lunch? Like it's not that exciting.
Text each other all the time,
Yeah. But
like
evidently
follow
they had
through.
quite the relationship. I mean, there were fireworks and all kinds of excitement. So I don't know. I if they have great chemistry, it could be fun. Like I said, I like Jordan Fisher. I'll give it a 2.
Yeah, I'll give that a 2 as well.
Mhm. Okay, then on Hulu and HBO Max on the 12th, we have Bob's Burgers movie. Um, I had never really been able to get into the show, and I was kind of nervous about that because I thought I'm not going to like this movie. I haven't really been able to get into the show. But I went to see it and I was thoroughly entertained by it. I liked all of the songs. I liked the jokes, and the performances were really fun. It was way better again than I thought it was going to be. I kind of like the Minions. I mean, I guess more hopeful because I've had such bad experience with the Minions, but I was more hopeful for Bob's Burgers, but I just have not been able to get into the show, and I ended up really enjoying the movie. The animation was really good. Uh, did you see this movie?
I did not. I figured since I had no experience with the show, it was kind of like
Yeah.
one of those things where I just wouldn't get into it. But I mean, I went into the Downton Abbey movie blind and I loved that, and it made me watch the show and love that too. So
Yeah, they do a pretty good job of making it approachable for people that, I mean, because I haven't seen much of the show. Um, they do a pretty good job making it stand alone, but I'm sure fans just must have loved it because it really was funny and the songs I really enjoyed. So I think I'd give it like a 3.75 or 4.
I'll just go
There's my
with a
grade.
straight up 3.
Mm. So happy 4th, everybody. Hope you're all having fun. Okay, so then on the 15th, we on Netflix we have Persuasion.
I
This
don't
is
think I need to guess the score that you're going to be
this is
giving.
an adaptation of the Jane Austen novel, of course. And we actually haven't gotten that many versions of Persuasion. There's really only been 2. Uh, one in 1995, I believe it is, or 92, with Amanda Root and Kieran Hines. That's fine. Um, it's decent. I reviewed it for Family Movie Night. And then in 2007, there's a version with Rupert Penry Jones and Sally Hawkins, which I really enjoy. It the director takes like a little bit of risk with a few little choices. And sometimes this Jane Austen crowd I was talking about on Twitter today, the Jane Austen crowd can be so like sticklers to the novels, not wanting the directors to take any artistic risk, or and it can be frustrating sometimes when I see just like there are people, there's a scene in Persuasion 2007 where Sally Hawkins' character, she runs across the whole city to in order to find Captain Wentworth. And there are people who are like, she would never run in that era, and they were never like, I'm like, come on, like the director has to be allowed to do a few things that are creative, and like, that you can't get mad at a character running.
It's called dramatic license.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I don't know. It seems ridiculous to me. But this new version, I do think that they have played a little bit with the script and with the Austen language. Made it a little bit more modern. I think they're trying to do sort of Bridgerton-ish things. So that makes me a little nervous, but I think people are overreacting to the trailer. Again, in the Austen world, people want everything to be exactly the same as the books. I'm looking forward to it. I kind of wish that Henry Golding was Captain Wentworth, was the lead. He kind of plays the other guy. He's a villain in the movie, so that's a bummer because I love him. But Dakota Johnson's almost always great, and so I'm super looking forward to it. I give it a 5.
Yeah, I called it right. Um,
Uh-huh.
I- I'm going 3. I think the trailer actually did look very solid. Like I
Yeah.
said, weird casting choice to have Henry Golding as
Yeah.
the villain because he's so charismatic that you would imagine him being the leading man in most things. Or well, I is he the leading man? I'm not familiar with. Is it more of like the Dakota
Henry
Johnson
Golding?
role who's in the forefront, or is it? I was
Henry Golding? No, he plays Mr. Elliot, who is after Anne for her fortune, for her title. Um
oh
and so yeah, he ends up a bad dude.
oh I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. which again is kind of a bummer because I think he would have been really fun as Captain Wentworth, the lead in the
Well,
story. But
he was a kind of sort of villain in The Gentleman, so he can do it and do it
mhm.
well.
Yeah, yeah. So all right. So then on Disney Plus on the 15th, we also have Zombies 3, the third in our Zombies trilogy. And one thing that stands out to me about this is that the other two were on Disney Channel and
Oh,
then put on Disney Plus. And in this case, it's going straight to Disney Plus, no Disney Channel. So this is not technically a DCOM. This is technically a Disney Plus release. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the not too distant future, in the next 2 years, Disney Channel is basically gone or it's just reruns.
yeah, basically what Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon are now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in making new content for Disney Channel when you're trying to build up Disney Plus and get those viewers uh on Disney Plus.
And take a gander at MTV sometime. It's literally just ridiculousness 24 hours. And I love ridiculousness. I think it's a fun show, but MTV used to be, Jersey Shore and a bunch of like other things, but now it's just pretty much all ridiculousness most of the time. So it's like it's so weird and similar to like Boomerang and Cartoon Network, because Boomerang used to be all the Hanna-Barbera stuff. Now it's just all of Cartoon Network's old stuff. And Cartoon Network, it's
Yeah.
also the same thing. So it's just like they blend together, so to speak. It is
Like in the
weird.
past, certainly the High School Musical, the series, would be on also on Disney Channel with its insane name. And I didn't put that in here because I didn't think you'd watched any of the other seasons. But season 3 is starting in July, and I am so excited for EJ, and Gina. If they mess that up, I will never watch the show again. That's the only thing I care about is EJ and Gina. Hashtag Portwell. They're the best. But as far as Zombies 3, I actually really enjoyed the first Zombies. I thought it was a clever metaphor, story, kids learning about people that are different and how we treat people. And it was a nice movie. I thought good singing, but then and some good dancing. But then the second one, it still had some good dancing, which I appreciated. But then they have everybody just learn the same thing again with werewolves are all of a sudden introduced, and they
And
have
now
the
aliens.
exact same story. And so it's just kind of like, couldn't you have thought of something else that then they learn? Um, that I mean, how many times is the school going to reject people that are different, right? Like, I mean, I guess as a society we keep having to learn that lesson over and over again, but I don't know, it just felt a little bit lazy to me. And now this third one, they have aliens coming.
All they need now are the mummies and the creatures from the Black Lagoon, and the classic Universal monster villains will all be represented, and
Yeah,
we're
Zombies 4 is going to be the vampires are coming or something.
wow.
Yeah. So I wasn't too thrilled about this. I think I'll still probably enjoy the music and the dancing because I'm a sucker for a musical. I just love musicals.
I've been to some with you. I know.
you know. Um, but Jeremiah says, "Yay! It did seem like an overreaction. The Persuasion trailer was okay-ish. Yeah, like people need to calm down." Uh,
You know, it's definitely not. It's two different, very different things. But in the world of like wrestling Twitter and wrestling social media, it's kind of the same thing. Where, like, for example, there's this wrestler. His name is Orange Cassidy. He wears like aviator shades, and his whole thing is that he does everything lazily. Like when he goes to kick someone, he does it lazy. Like he just like
mhm.
puts his foot on him, and people get so mad. It is like he's killing the business. He's destroying the bit. I'm like, comedy wrestling has been around as long as it's been around. So it's just like just relax, please. It's just,
Yeah.
like I definitely feel you there. It's like two completely different stuff types of
Yeah,
comedy.
and I think what happens sometimes is that people that are super readers are sometimes not that well versed in film,
Hmm.
right? And so you think like these people that are reading these classic novels would be sort of, the discussion would be a little more sophisticated, but I think sometimes they don't really kind of understand the world of film and the nuances of film, and it's just kind of like, that's different from the book, oh my gosh,
Yeah, Romeo and
calm
Juliet,
down.
an adaptation of that was done in mid-90s California. It's like what other boundaries like are you
Yeah.
trying to protect here?
Well, and with most of these, I have to say, I don't feel like there has been a great version of Persuasion yet. And maybe this one won't be good. I might not like it. Who knows? But I I feel like at this point, most of these stories have been told so many times, and people were, the 2005 Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley. People were so nitpicky about that movie. I mean, every little tiny change from the book, and it's like the Colin Firth version that is exactly the book has already been done. You're not going to outdo that. You're not going to make it better than that. So what is your choice? You've got to try something new. You've got to try a few different things. It's the same thing I think with the 2011 Jane Eyre. Like they tried some things with the linear storytelling and some of the other things that they did. I loved it. I think it was so good. Jane Eyre has been literally put to film, I think 15 times. So like at this point, like you got you got to do something different. I mean, to make it
Yeah,
your own and make it unique. And I don't
I
know. It's
can't
just funny to
I
me.
can't remember where I heard this quote, but it was something along the lines of you can either strive to be better than, less than, or different than.
Yeah.
You shouldn't try to be better than in certain cases, and you definitely shouldn't try to be less than. So you should try to be different.
Yeah.
And so I think in terms of that, they should try to be different or
Yeah.
strive to be.
I agree. Christina says, Happy 4th. I probably won't be able to be here long, but hi, Rachel and Ryan. Hi.
Hey, miss your
Yay.
comments.
And yes, and Christina says, I'm actually very excited for the new Persuasion, and I've read the book many, many times. And you're right, Rachel. There's not a great Persuasion adaptation. So yeah, it's a hard book, I think, to understand. To translate to, it's a hard book to adapt because a lot of what kind of goes on is in her head and in between them, and as opposed to Pride and Prejudice, where there's a lot of drama that happens with Lydia and with Mr. Collins, and the kind of thing. There's really not that kind of drama in Persuasion, but that's why a lot of people love it when they read the book, because they get so close to Anne and in her heart and what she's thinking and everything. So it's challenging. All right. Well, what will you give to Zombies 3?
um, I'll give this like a 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say 2, but I'm with you. I'll still watch it, but we'll see. Okay, so then we have Don't Make Me Go, and this is on Amazon. It stars K.S. Godelario and Jermaine Clement, John Chu, um, and it is when a single father to a teenage daughter learns that he has a fatal brain tumor, he takes her on a road trip to find the mother who abandoned her years before and to try to teach her everything she might need over the rest of her life. What do you think of this?
I've seen this trailer now a couple times because this was in my preview with Jacob,
Oh, really?
and this this honestly actually looked pretty solid. I have a feeling I've seen this type of story before, but I'm a big fan of John Cho. I loved him in Searching, which you all should watch if you haven't. It is quite good. And I have a feeling this is going to be a silent, like, tearjerker for this year.
Yeah, yeah, it is a fairly conventional. It's a trope. The road trip, and then the father daughter bonding and everything. But I thought it looked really good. I love John Cho. I think he's great. And the daughter is played by Mia Isaac, is her name, and it seemed like they had a good chemistry together. And
Mhm.
yeah, I thought this really made me interested, and I had never heard of it before for the trailer. So I'm going to be very bullish on this. 4.5.
I'm going to go 4.
Yeah. It looks really good.
Mm.
All right, so then we have The Gray Man, and this is on Netflix on the 22nd of July.
This is what the Russos are doing next.
Yeah.
And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm saying
Yeah,
for
no, it
fact
is. It
this
is
is
what they
what they're
do.
doing next. I mean, after they make literally the biggest movie of all time, this is what they're going to do now.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a
They
couple other
definitely earned it.
things since Endgame, but this stars Anna de Armas, Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, and it's when CIA's most skilled operative, whose true identity is known to none, accidentally uncovers the dark agency secrets. A psychopathic former colleague puts a bounty on his head, setting off a global manhunt by international assassins. What did you think of this trailer?
I'm going to give this one a 4.5. This kind of reminded me of the plot to John Wick Chapter 2, minus the whole blood oath thing. I like Ryan Gosling, like Chris Evans too. I pretty much
Mm-hmm.
like this whole cast, and considering that the Russo brothers are behind this, there's definitely a lot of intrigue to see after they've been through the MCU and they've delivered some of the biggest movies of that franchise. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. It's weird that this is a Netflix movie. Maybe I don't know if Netflix approached them or like this was the only way that it could get made. I'm not sure. I haven't read
Yeah.
anything on that. This movie definitely says it should have been like going to a theater first, if that makes any sense, considering that the Russos made a movie that literally made like $1 billion, and it is like two of the biggest in movies ever made in Infinity War and Endgame. You would think that would be like their big theater ready made movie pass for life, for lack of a better word. But I don't know. It's a weird flex to put this on Netflix, but maybe it was a Netflix decision. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I remember hearing about that Netflix had put up a lot of money for it, and it was probably a money thing. But yeah, it is PG-13, so I think the trailer kind of makes it look a little more violent than it actually will be. It's not R-rated, but I was gonna joke that I give the movie, I'm gonna give it 3.5, but I give Chris Evans' mustache a 0. It looks
definitely,
terrible.
definitely like Henry Cavill CGI level like mustache right there.
Well, I mean, it didn't look fake like Henry Cavill, but it's just like not my favorite look for him.
It's so weird. I'm so used to seeing the man clean shaven. Like either go clean shaven or go with the beard route. I'm fine with either way. Just stick to those two extremes.
Yeah. All right. So, or what are you giving it?
I'm gonna give this one a 4.5. I love movies like this. Like
Yeah.
I'm a big defender of the Paul Greengrass Bourne movies. I love, like a lot of Liam Neeson work. So this definitely is shouting my name.
It definitely had a Bourne feel to it. I
Hmm.
think that's a good, good comparison. So we have next is Anything's Possible. This is on the 22nd on Amazon, and it's a delightfully modern Gen Z coming of age story that follows Kelsa, a confident high school girl who is trans, as she navigates through her senior year. This is directed by Billy Porter. What do you think of the trailer?
I think it looked interesting. I, th- I think I think there's definitely some potential here. I'm not familiar with Billy Porter all of that much. And this is in any for no other reason than I'm just not super familiar with anything that he's done. I know he was in that Cinderella movie on Amazon that didn't do too well critically,
Yeah,
but
I mean he's barely in it, but
that's really all that I know him super well for. But
yeah,
it looks interesting.
he's famous for doing a show called Pose, which I had
Oh,
never seen.
I've seen the trailers for that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was popular. But anyway, yeah, there's certain parts of this trailer that almost made it seem like a musical, but then they weren't like singing. But I thought it looked almost like choreography or something weird. I was like, is this a musical? But I don't think it is. I mean, he's a Broadway guy, so it wouldn't surprise me if it is.
Hmm.
But anyway, it looked cute enough. I thought it looked fun. Um, so I would give it a 3.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that. I concur.
Yeah. All right. The next we have Prize Fighter, also on Amazon. And this stars Russell Crowe. And it's telling the story of the life of Jem Belcher, who is in the 19s. At the turn of the 19th century, pugilism was the sport of kings, and gifted young boxer fought his way to becoming champion of England. And this has Ray Winstone. Matt Hookings plays Jem. Russell Crowe is like the manager guy. What did you think of this trailer?
I'm normally a fan of Russell Crowe in most of the things that he's in, so this definitely appealed to me, and especially the boxing side of things. I think there's potential here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked pretty good to me too. The It's not the first time that Russell Crowe has done a boxing movie. Of course, he's in
Cinderella Man.
Cinderella Man, which was a terrible name for that movie, but it was actually pretty good, pretty good movie. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I give this a 4. I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you. And why was Cinderella Man a terrible name? I'm curious now.
Because it just sounds like a fairy movie, not a boxing movie. It sounds like a fairy tale or something. Doesn't to me, but that's what I think. Okay, so next on Apple TV, we have Best Foot Forward. And this is from homeschooled to the new kid in school. Josh is stepping into a whole new adventure. It's actually I guess it's actually a series now that I see. What do you think of this one?
um, I don't know. I mean, I was struggling a bit where to place this one on my excitement level because I think it's going to be nice enough of a story, but I just like I said, I'm kind of struggling with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked cute enough. I didn't realize it was a series for some reason. I thought it was just a movie. But yeah, I mean, the kid looked a little irritating to me.
Yeah,
Maybe that's my problem.
it's
But
also weird that he would go from homeschooling to public school. Usually that's like the other way around, at least from
yeah.
what I've experienced.
Well, and most people nowadays are pretty acclimated when it comes to homeschool. Usually, when you're homeschooled in these days, you still do a lot of activities
Yeah.
um, in the community. You take classes, things like that. You're in co-ops, so it's not like you're just some like person who's been in a basement for your whole life and never come outside. For most homeschool kids.
You're just not physically in a school.
Right, but you still interact with humans.
Yeah, I know. I took some virtual. I took some virtual classes in middle and high school, and I know on some of them, my teacher, I would have to call him on occasion, or he would have to call
Yeah.
me for something or other if I had a question. So I was talking to a teacher. Just the class was online and not
Right.
in a traditional classroom. If that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
and they still oftentimes are involved in sports clubs and other activities, and they just aren't in a traditional school. But anyway, I give it a 2.
Yeah, I'll go with you on
Yeah.
that one.
All right. So next we have Purple Hearts, and this is on Amazon, I think. Netflix. Sorry,
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah.
It's in spite of their many differences, Cassie, a struggling singer-songwriter, and Luke, a troubled Marine, agree to marry solely for military benefits. But when tragedy strikes, the line between real and pretend begins to blur. They don't really have a trailer for this. They have a clip
Yeah.
of Sophia Carson singing to, I guess it's Nicholas Galitzine and the troops and everything. So it's a little hard to know. But from that description, what do you think?
Um, I don't know. I mean, the clip was nice enough. The song was
Right.
nice, but it didn't really give much of an idea. Like you just read the story to me, but at the same time, I just don't know because seems kind of scummy to me to want to marry someone just for the military benefits. Like, does love have
Mhm.
anything to do with it at all? I don't know. Just
It sounds like they hardly even knew each other
it seems
from the
seems a bit
description.
seems a bit sus to me, but again, hopefully before the movie releases, they'll release like an actual trailer that I
Yeah.
can see, and then maybe I can get a better idea of where they're going with this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a 2 for now, but, we'll see. We'll
I'll
see.
go 2.5 just because the song was actually kind of nice.
Yeah. Alright, so then we have on Apple, we have Surface, and this, stars, let me get this up. It's it stars Guma Gathara
Mhm.
and
This is about her suffering a head injury and losing her memory.
yeah, and I guess this is series 2. I messed up. I didn't realize it. Yeah, Gugu Mbatha Raw, and it's a woman's request to rebuild her life after a suicide attempt and her struggle to understand all the things that led up to that moment. There were also some Bourne vibes, I thought, in this trailer.
Yeah, definitely. And another movie starring Liam Neeson called Unknown, which I really enjoy. It kind
Mhm.
of gave off like that kind of vibe, especially the whole like maybe her life isn't exactly like what she thought it was, and it was just a cover for something.
Yeah. And I thought this looked pretty good. I like Gugu Mbatha Raw. She's really good. And I'd be intrigued to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3 on this one. It
Yeah.
looks honestly pretty interesting.
All right. Well, next we have Luck, which is the new movie from new studio for Skydance Animation. And the curtain is pulled back on the millennial old battle between the organizations of good luck and bad luck that secretly affect our everyday lives. And this has Simon Pegg, Jane Fonda, Whoopi Goldberg. So huge cast. John Ratzenberg is in there, which is interesting because he hasn't been in the last couple Pixar movies. So, with Lasseter, I don't know, thought that was kind of interesting. Um, so
Curious timing.
yeah. What do you think about this?
I mean, I love Simon Pegg. I love him as a writer. I love him as an actor. Like in the Cornetto films and the Mission Impossible films, or at least 3 up to the present, I've enjoyed him. I'm a big fan of his, so I'm going 3.5 just based on him alone and the animation. The animation actually looks quite solid. I had no idea Skydance had this in them, but it's
Yeah.
looking like that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah. Well, even on his less successful films, John Lasseter always produced quality animation. Like Cars 2 is not a great movie, but it
Oh
looks
no, it's not, but
beautiful.
it
I mean,
looks outstanding. Yes.
but anyway, so and he's just the producer, he's not the director of this movie. And it's Peggy Holmes is the director. It looks cute to me. I also like the animation like you. I feel like at this point, it seems like we've gone into the soul, the afterlife, we've gone into the emotions with Inside Out. We have Elemental coming out next year from Pixar with the different elements. And now we're going to Luck. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like, is there enough there for a whole movie? Um, we'll see. But I agree, 3.5, I think, is fair. Okay, so we have The Sandman coming to Netflix. This is on the 5th of August.
I just had a thought. After luck, they're gonna go with the zodiac signs:
Yeah.
Taurus, Scorpio, Libra. That just
you
came to my head.
you know that's happening. That is totally happening. So this is also a series. I just messed up on a lot of these series. Sorry. But this is a series coming to Netflix. and it's by writer Neil Gaiman, based on his works, and the Sandman.
Hmm.
And it's the premise is in 1916, Morpheus, the king of dreams and one of the seven endless, is captured in an occult ritual. After being held captive for 105 years, Morpheus escapes and sets out to restore order to his kingdom of the dreaming. So, what do you think of this?
I thought it looked interesting. The Sandman graphic novels have been something that I've been meaning to read forever. I've just never gotten around to it, and with this show coming out, I think this will give me the impetus to finally sit down and read it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's got a great cast. It's got Gwendolyn Christie and Jenna Coleman, Jolie Richardson, Stephen Fry, Mark Hamill, Patton Oswalt. So yeah, it looked interesting. I'd give it also 3.
David Thewlis and Charles Dance are also in there.
Mm-hmm. So what would you give it?
I'm gonna go 4 on this one. Just from this trailer alone, it looked pretty epic. Netflix, despite their financial troubles, they threw a lot of money at it.
Yeah. So we have A League of Their Own, which is also a series. I knew that one though. It's a series based on the same story as the movie. Of the all-female baseball team during World War One, the All-American Professional Women's Baseball League. And this stars DRC Carden, Abby Jacobson, Shantae Adams, and I've heard good things. I actually have the screener in my waiting for me to catch up on. What do you think of this?
Well, I haven't seen the original League of Their Own. I've heard nothing but good things.
Oh, you've never
So
seen it, huh?
I
Yeah,
will get around to it one day, but I've heard nothing but good things. But
yeah,
from this trailer, I thought it looked interesting. I'm an all-female baseball league. Is this based on a true story?
yeah, yeah. I think so.
Because I was thinking to myself, this has got to be based on a true story, which sounds fascinating.
Yeah, during the war, because the men were gone, then they formed they had all women's teams.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. All right. So what would you give it?
I'll go 3 on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 because I really like the movie and I think it looks sweet. So,
I
okay.
know I know the line, the whole "no crying in baseball" line. I do
Yeah,
know
you
that.
gotta watch this movie. It's a good one. You gotta watch it. Okay. So then on the 12th on Netflix, we have Day Shift, and this is with Jamie Foxx and Adam Sandler, but it's not a comedy. It's a hardworking blue collar dad who just wants to provide a good life for his quick witted 8-year-old daughter. His mundane San Fernando Valley pool cleaning job is a front for his real source of income, hunting and killing vampires.
Whoa.
What do you think of this?
I was reading like as I was watching the trailer, they had the synopsis and the description, and so I was reading it. I was like, okay, Jamie Foxx, pool cleaner, daughter, vampire. What? Like, it
Hmm.
just seemed so out of bounds.
It's got Dave Franco in it. Uh, so yeah, it looks different. Um, I'm gonna give it a 3.
Yeah, I think I'll go with you on that one.
Yeah. All right. And then we have She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And I know a lot of people hated the trailer, and some of the visual effects weren't the best, but I do think they're trying to go for sort of an old school kind of 70s vintage aesthetic a little bit. I'm not making excuses for them, but I do think there's some of that going on. But I'm still excited for this because I really love the comics. They're really fun with her being this kind of sassy lawyer. And I'm hoping that this will have kind of an Ally McBeal feel to it and be not take itself so seriously like some of these Marvel stuff. I love Tatiana Maslany. I think she's very talented. I really like Mark Ruffalo. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it'll be good. Um, so I'm going to give it and I have been nicer on these Marvel shows than a lot of other people. I know they just entertained me. So I'm going to give it a 3.5. What about you?
Yeah, I'll go with you on there too. I think the reception to the trailer was a bit harsh. I thought it was fine,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna wait until I actually see the series in order to judge.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna skip to this last one. We have Andor on Disney Plus. This is a prequel to Rogue One, following Cassian Andor. Um, and people probably know, if you followed my channel, I wasn't a big fan of Rogue One, but I was a fan of the Rogue One prequel novel. And that's part of the reason why I was disappointed, was because I really liked the characters and the everything they were setting up leading to, and then it disappointed me with the characters and how it was written. And I don't know, I just didn't love Rogue One. So I actually am still interested because, like I said, I liked that prequel novel. um I mean, the Star Wars shows have been a little disappointing. I didn't watch Boba Fett, but I did watch Kenobi, and it was not as good as I wanted it to be. It still wasn't awful, but yeah. So I'm gonna give this a 3. Hope for the best.
Yeah,
What do you
me
think?
too. And like I said, Obi-Wan, it had its moments of it was like,
Yeah, it
oh
did.
great moment,
Yeah,
oh great moment. It was short bursts, but the moments were definitely there.
I
I
agree.
feel like they're just doing these shows just for the sake of doing them. I mean, minus The Mandalorian, which I think is actually quite good.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the best Disney Star Wars has been the animated shows. Except for I didn't watch the Bad Batch. I mean, I started it, but I didn't get into that. But I really enjoyed Rebels, and what I've seen of Clone Wars, I liked quite a bit. And I really liked the Visions show that they did with the anime. That was really good. But uh, most of these other works have been underwhelming. I mean, Star Wars has a long history of being disappointing, unfortunately,
Especially in your lifetime.
in my lifetime. That's right. So, yeah. What would you give this one?
I'll go 3 on this one too.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy about the Andor character to begin with. I like Rogue One, but I like the battle stuff, and I like the ending especially. But the characters just didn't really light the world on fire for me.
Yeah. I agree. Christine says, I love the She Hulk comics too, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, the comics are really fun. They have like a snap to them, a banter that if they could capture that in the show, it could be really, really entertaining. So, because she's a lawyer and she's kind of sassy and sexy, and she's She Hulk by night, lawyer by day. So if they can kind of capture that spirit, I think it could be fun. All right, we did it! Yay! Well, thank you to those who have been watching and commenting. We really appreciate it. And Ryan, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20. And then there's, of course, my YouTube channel, which is just called Ryan Cam. Got a lot of stuff coming. Life in the Movies podcast with Ryan and Jacob. We're going to be talking about patriotic movies this coming episode on the 7th. Or not the 7th, but Wednesday would be the 6th. It's going to be dropping on the 6th. And then, of course, I'll be reviewing Thor: Love and Thunder when I do see that. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. And also, I've been covering all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And despite kind of unwillingness to, I'm going to be reviewing On Stranger Tides and Dead Men Tell No Tales, which just feel like which people say cash grab all the time. Those definitely feel like it. But
Yeah.
it'll be
Uh,
interesting to revisit.
I reviewed those not that long ago when I did my Disney park movie ranking. It's a lot. You're just like, why did I start this again? I don't know. They're so long. But anyway, that should be fun. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, check out the Hallmarkies podcast. I think you'll really enjoy everything we're doing over there. It's a lot of fun. So take a look. And thanks so much. And we'll talk to you all later. Happy 4th, everybody.
Bye.